deep to left center field. Back it goes and gone. The 0-2 pitch. Hey, struck him out swinging at 101. The swing and a drive, left field and deep. Back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, it is that time on a Friday morning. Our guy Cory Provus joins us to get us started. The Twins have the home opener today at Target Field. Come hell or high water, we're playing baseball, it looks like, but might be chilly later this afternoon. 3 o'clock first pitch for the Twins and the Rays. You dressed up for us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I've just, all these years now, 3 years of doing this with you, Dom, and the majority of the time I'm in a backwards hat. I'm in workout clothes, and you have been nothing but classy from the start. And I said, you know what? It's about time. You know, your audience deserves it. Let's be a professional. So I thought I'd put a tie, and I have shorts on underneath. So I'm doing the old Sports Center look here.
Fantastic.
Like Rich Eisen, Stuart Scott back in the day.
Yes.
Even Olbermann and Patrick. So I've got this and then shorts.
Well, I was going to give you a hard time of not knowing this. You and Perkins were wearing suit coats yesterday, and it was a day game. What was that about?
So we are instructed to wear sport coats.
Okay.
Early on in the season. And then we get into the polos like we had for the Royals home opener on Monday.
Yeah.
That's my favorite look. We're the only people in the ballpark with the jacket on. But but it is what it is. Yeah. It's fine. But so we wear sport coats. We wear ties today. And then, Jackie Robinson today will put on a tie again in special occasions. But for the most part, early on, we'll be in sport coat and shirt.
All right. Well, give us your today, opening day, emotions around this, and just how much you look forward to this as a broadcaster, getting ready to go to the ballpark today. It's
a special day. It's a day that I look around the ballpark and I see so many familiar faces. And especially where we sit at the ballpark, Dom, we have this great vantage point, not just of the field, but of the fans. Yep. The Legends Club is right beneath us. And so these are season ticket holders that have had the same seats, since the ballpark opened up in 2010, and you get to see them. And when I was doing radio, there's a season ticket holder. Her name is Linda Weens from Shoreview, and she would sit 5 rows in front of the radio booth, and she has her headset on, and we just over the years became friends. Yeah. And so if Danny and I were going on a tangent about something, I would see her shake her head. I'm like, okay, so it worked. So what we're doing, the nonsense we're getting into, okay, it's resonating with her. And she was often my target audience. When I want to throw out some random story or I don't know where I was going to go, I'd often use Linda. But just those people, I get the chance to see these faces that I've gotten to know, and not personally. Linda's an exception, but many, I don't know who they are, but I just know their faces, and we say hello, we wave. And it's great seeing families come back, and you recognize the people you've seen, that these were maybe, 5-6-year-olds a few years ago, and now they're teenagers, right? And they come back because it's tradition. They do opening day with mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. And so it is a special day. I don't care what the team is doing on the field. I don't care what the expectations are. The one day every year when there's just optimism and smiling faces, no matter what the weather is, today's that day.
I'm interested as well. Just, we were looking at the forecast earlier. It looks like it's going to be chilly, but maybe dry from what we could suspect for later today. Yeah,
I think we're okay. I was doing some homework this morning about Tampa Bay, and per the great Mark Topkin of the Tampa Bay Times, the coldest first pitch in Rays history is 40 degrees. And that was in Boston. Back in I have it written down on my score sheet, and either 2003, 2004. So I think we're going to set a record this weekend, if not today, then tomorrow, about the coldest first pitch ever in Rays history. And I just can't wait to see what Yandy Diaz is wearing today, because he hates the cold. He hates the cold. He's a great player. Yes. He's he's like the strongest guy in the game. Like him, and he's a beast. And great hitter, leadoff hitter. He is going to have so many layers on today and tomorrow. So I always get a kick out of that. Those that have dealt with it before, it's one thing, but those that, even though they hate it, and they still dress the part. And I always get a chuckle out of that.
How about for you? How many layers you rocking today?
So I've got quite a few.
Yeah.
We'll have the windows open.
Yes.
So I've got long johns. I've got a long sleeve undershirt on here today, but we'll have the windows open. Probably after we do all the fancy stuff on TV, then I'll put my hat on. So I will have a beanie on today.
Got to do that. What I love about today, and I remember covering it for the newscasts up here. We would go down on opening day. Is the party on the plaza with just all day long. It starts at 7 a.m., maybe even earlier for people to congregate, and I'm sure it'll be the case again this morning to get ready for a game that's still 6 hours away.
My boss was there at 5 a.m. this morning,
yeah.
And he was engineering the radio broadcast on this first road trip as well. So Andrew Halverson, the great Andrew Halverson, I was asking him on the plane what time tomorrow, and he said for 20 years I'll be there at 5 a.m. for breakfast in the plaza. Yeah. So I was listening to local radio WCCO this morning, leaving the gym, and the action sounded great.
Yeah.
It sounded like people were having a good time, and people were honest. Like, I'm not going to the game, I just wanted the free food. I'm like, that's all part of it. And great. Get your breakfast sandwich, get your hot dog, and whatever you want at 7 a.m. More power to you.
I want to start here with what happened yesterday with Victor Caratini getting thrown out and the base path stuff with Cody Clemens. What's going on through the first week here? Because it seems like the Twins are, I think, running to 6 outs. Is that even, I don't know if I have that accurate. There might be more than that so far on the base pass so far this year.
I think it was five, which was leading the league. I think midway through the game. I don't know how the other games played out last night. So it's high.
It's way too high. Yeah.
Look, it's a byproduct of two things. They're going to preach aggressiveness. They want to maintain, even though the personnel is mostly the same, they still want to maintain the aggressiveness that they had the second half of last year. But the bigger part of it is that it's a slow team. It's really comes down to that. The Twins are not fast. They have a few guys, of course, that Buxton is still, despite being 32, his sprint speed was tied for the third fastest in the game last year. So he is on one side. We know that Keyshaw can run, James Outman can run, Austin Martin can run, but it's not a fast team. And that is something that I thought was going to be corrected a little bit more. I thought the roster was going to change more than it did. And I'm sure there's multiple reasons for that. I thought they would try to be a bit more athletic and try to get more team speed to build off, really, Dom, what they did those last 2 months of 2025. Yeah. It didn't happen. So I think it's two things. That Shelty wants these guys to be aggressive. That's great. But if you're slow, you're going to be out. And I think that was odd by Caratini because he slowed down like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty routine play. That was surprising. The Cody Clemens play yesterday, which led to the run in the second inning. He joined Danny and Chris on postgame on radio. He said he did that on purpose. I don't know what. I haven't asked him about it.
Right.
I have to follow up on that a little bit more today because he was going to be out by
a
20
mile.
feet.
Yes.
I mean, it's you're not asking Salvador Perez to make this hard, challenging throw. From what I understand was if he was going to break to third, but I that's what he said, and I'll take him at his word. But Perk said on the air, did he lose track of the count? That's what it looked like. Visually, it looked like he forgot what the count was and what was going on and how many outs because he was going to be out by
a mile. Yes,
and then it looks like a terrible play. Yes. So it worked out. It was a rare throwing error by Sal, and it led to an unearned run.
I got an email here, and we were talking about this actually off air about the camera mishaps yesterday. Can you describe on it as a broadcaster, how much are you being told in your ear about, hey, what's happening, and then can relate that to the audience?
It's a good question. I'm watching. So part of my job with TV, unlike radio, TV, I'm watching the monitor a lot because my job is to tell you what I see on the field, but also what you're seeing on the screen.
Yes.
So I go back and forth, right? And the way that the monitor was set up yesterday, we had just this glare coming in with the wind and everything that was going on, the cloud cover, the sunshine. I didn't have a great view of the monitor in the booth yesterday. So I was still looking at it, but I couldn't always have the cleanest look at what was going on. And then I learned in my headset from our director, Jordan Austin, that, hey, you're going to have to tell people that we can't use this camera. Our center field cameras are down right now because of what's going on. And what was going on was the wind was excessive yesterday. And as beautiful as the fountains are, as appealing as they are to look at, they're terrible for two people that work at that ballpark in a day like yesterday, and those were the two cameramen.
Yeah.
Because if you saw, they're in rain gear, man. The wind is whipping all that moisture onto not just their camera and the lens, but onto their bodies. I mean, they're getting soaked. So because of that, it just made it too challenging. We just could not use those cameras yesterday. They're doing their best to wipe off the lens, but at some point, you just can't do it. Now that the Royals are part of MLB, much like the Twins have been now for the second straight year, I wouldn't shock me, Dom, if Kansas City makes a change with where those cameras are stationed. Either they move them or build some semblance of a platform. Because MLB, I think for the first time probably, was looped into how bad that can be. Certainly, I was told the first 2 months of every season. So April and May, those conditions are not unusual for those camera guys out there. So it wouldn't shock me. I don't know about this year, but I think maybe for 2027, if that's taken care of.
Speaking of how bad it could be, that was the conditions Wednesday night. Watching that, especially at the end of the game, the infield looked like it was a pond out there. It looked terrible.
I was surprised that we played.
Yeah.
I was surprised that we kept on playing through that. And, it was steady. It wasn't a downpour. So Andy Fletcher was the crew chief. He was behind the plate, too, for the game. And it's his call at that point. The teams have no say in the matter. It's the umpire's call once the game starts. So he just felt like it was playable.
Yeah.
We can do it. We can make it happen. To me, they treated it like the final game of a series with a team that doesn't come back.
Not coming back? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that I understand. You don't want to lose an off day, but for a divisional foe, we go back again, I think, in August. I was a little surprised. I didn't think we played a doubleheader yesterday, just with the Twins having the home opener today, a late afternoon game. I didn't think it was going to happen today or yesterday. But I was surprised, and I was walking out with I was talking to Denny Matthews before the game yesterday, the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals. He told me leaving the ballpark Wednesday, he was walking out with a few players, and one of the pitchers said, and Denny was a hockey player growing up, he said that it felt like they were playing on ice. They just had no footing at any point, especially the pitchers, and it was a challenge. I'm glad we got the game in, and I'll tell you this: I said post game it looked like a dud, and then the Twins made it interesting. Man, they forced Lucas Erceg into the game, had the tying run on deck, and they made it fun. Those last 3 innings, the Twins made it competitive.
Wild game there. Let's break. We come back. We'll get ready for the home opener. We'll also talk about the week that was in ABS challenges with the Twins. Much more with Cory Provus on the Twins home opener. It's coming up when we come back. All right, welcome back, everybody. Wrapping up our first hour. Back with Cory Provus. Twins and Rays coming up later today from Target Field, 3 o'clock for the Twins home opener to start the 2026 home campaign. It has been a interesting week for the ABS Challenge. We saw a walk-off ABS Challenge of the Orioles Rangers game earlier this week. We saw what happened over the last weekend, Cory, with Derek Shelton getting ejected on he didn't believe that Ryan Helsley went and indicated soon enough. What has this been like for you as a Brock to try and follow all this the last week?
I love it. And today is going to be fun because what I've noticed is the novelty of the first one at each ballpark.
Yeah.
That the oohs, the ahs. So pay attention to that today at Target Field. If you're watching the game or listening on the radio, the first time that there's a challenge and just how the fans kind of get into it. That first time especially. And so I think that I've really liked it. I'm a big fan. I think 2 challenges is good.
Yep.
I think if you ask hitters, and I wonder a guy like Justin Morneau, who I'm with here this weekend and throughout the homestand, if they want more. I think 2 challenges is good, but if that number will and should grow, I don't think so. I think the hitters are going to say, listen, what's wrong with getting it right? Right? We have all this replay. We want it to be right. Okay.
Yep.
I think the umpires are really good too. I think what we're seeing here is that, you're going to have your few here and there. They're going to miss by, 5-6 inches. But for the most part, look what they're missing by, Dom. They're missing by a tenth of an inch,
Yes.
2/10 of an inch. They're
Right.
not by much
No.
here. They're not missing by the width of a baseball. I mean, these umpires are really good. The Twins have been great. The Twins have been really aggressive with it. And now on Baseball Savant, which is, I just love this website. They keep updating the ABS stat, not just the results and who's been good, who's been bad, but equating it to run value. And the Twins right now have been the best in terms of the challenges that they've either went with, overturned, went their way, agreed upon, what have you, that they've almost gained 2 runs.
Wow.
2 runs
Holy
alone, just based on their ABS challenge rate so far. So that, to me, I think is a telling stat, because it's great that you're challenging all these plays, and you're right. Your catchers have a great idea of the zone. Your hitter's fine, but what does it mean? What's the context? If the context is that that's going to equate to runs, right? And for every 10 runs you score, gain, any stat you look at, any 10 runs, in theory, that equates to 1 win. So if the Twins get to a point here when their ABS challenge rate reaches 9.5, 10 runs, that equates to their challenge rate alone has led to a win.
Wow.
So that's going to be a fun stat to follow, not just who's doing it, again, their rate, how good they are, how accurate they are, but what does it mean? And if the context is it means to gaining runs for your side, then that has a lot of value.
What's your thought on who has control over it, the catcher or the pitcher, in terms of asking for it? Because I understand the pitcher might be too emotionally invested in it to call for it, and I don't mind if the catcher has control of it. You have an opinion on that?
I mean, so far catchers are calling it more than anybody else.
Yeah.
I think I saw a stat going into yesterday. There's only been, through the first week, if you will, Dom, of games, not even, that maybe 6 pitcher challenges all year. And I think only 2 have been correct. And so Ryan Helsley was one of them.
One of them, yeah.
So the 6 compared to the challenge rate for the catchers, and the success rate is around 59%. Hitters are about 50-50. It's about flip a coin for hitters so far with this. But the catchers, and the data backs up what happened in the minor leagues, what happened in spring training in 2025, that the catchers are the most accurate. And Ryan Jeffers has been great. I mean, Ryan Jeffers has been really good when he's been behind the plate with ABS.
I love it. Honestly, it's about getting it right, and it doesn't take long. All I ask is, why did it take so long to make this happen? You know,
because I think the technology wasn't there.
Yeah.
I think they had to figure out. Stance has nothing to do with it. Stance, there's a great article in the Wall Street Journal a couple of days ago about this, and kind of went behind the scenes about how all this went down. All the players were measured in spring training. Socks, no shoes, no cleats, no sandals. It was just their socks. And the amount of players, by the way, in media guides that were 6 feet, 6'1", that are now 5'10", 5'11", I'm like, okay, it doesn't make me feel as bad when people embellish about their height, right? Because so do you. You guys, all your big leaguers, there's like 68 players. I think the data was in this article. 68 players went from 6 foot something to 5 foot something.
Wow.
Just based on last year to what they felt they were, what they believe they were in height, to what they actually are.
That's hilarious.
When they measured all these guys in spring training.
Wow. That's hysterical. Last thing before we let you go, is this the tallest pitching matchup we'll have today? 6'8" versus 6'9" today?
13 feet, 5 inches of dudes on the mound here today. So, yeah, Bailey 6'9", and Boyle 6'8". Now, Boyle throws hard. So Boyle throws upper 90s. You know, that's not Bailey's game right now. You know, Bailey threw more changeups than fastballs. And the fastball, we saw 90 a little bit, but only 2 swing and misses with Bailey in his first start. So there's no piggyback assignment today. Mick Abel is going to go tomorrow. The bullpen's fine. I think, you know, the guys that threw yesterday, nobody was taxed. I think everybody can go again today if needed. But we'll see. We'll see how Bailey does with this weather. And I think the Rays, it wouldn't shock me if the Rays are just looking to swing and get their at bat over with. I don't see them being that patient today.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come out swinging. And the numbers say against Bailey Ober last year, first pitch was inviting. OPS was over 1,200. I think of the 30 home runs that Bailey allowed last year, Dom, 14 came on the first pitch of the at bat. So I think it's not just the weather. I think also based on some numbers with Bailey, I think the Rays are going to be aggressive. Something that we dug up this morning already. Bailey's arm slot, he dropped considerably from last year. He's throwing it like a 27 degree. I'm going to kind of do some TV here. So he's not all the way down here,
Yeah.
but he's noticeably lower than he was last year. He dropped about 5 degrees of arm angle. So we're going to dive into that. If that's I would imagine it's by design. I'd imagine that's trying to help Bailey because doesn't have the same velo. It's just a lower slot, leads to some better movement with some of his pitches. I think that's probably a part of it. We're going to dive into that a little bit more today.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Stay warm out there, bud. Have a great call, and we'll see you next Friday, okay?
You got it, Don. By the way, saw a bunch of NDSU. I think there was a volleyball tournament in Kansas City this week, and we saw NDSU. Saw a lot of NDSU folks, a lot of apparel at the hotel this week in Kansas City.
Awesome. Good stuff, bud. Thanks for the
right,
time. Appreciate it.
Take
There
care.
he goes. Cory Provus joins us each and every Friday at 9:30. Twins home opener with the Rays coming up today at 3. Again, 6'9" versus 6'8" on the mound for that one. Let's break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. You'll meet, speaking of NDSU, the first FBS homegrown Bison commit. Carrington's Andrew Matt will join us when hour 2 begins on a Friday after this.